Last week we went GNCC racing in the woods of Kentucky, and the rocks, the ruts, the hills, they could not stop Bill Balance from taking a win and stretching the series points lead. But today, the series' toughest track lies in their path. Can Balance win it again, or will the pack respawn?
Hello and welcome to Racer TV. I'm Rachel Ayers.
And I'm Rodney Smith, 5-time GNCC champion.
We're here at the Wisp Resort in Deep Creek Lake, Maryland. This has always been one of the most unique tracks of the year. We even have a ski lift to ride up and watch the track from.
Yeah, Rachel, definitely. This is one of the best tracks of the year. It's actually a weekend break between the motocross series, and a lot of our major sponsors get to come here and check it out. Like you said, we're sitting on a ski lift. It's a ski resort. There's a lot of fun activities to do here. There's a lake just down the road. You can go water skiing, you can go mountain biking. It's just a great place to be.
This has always been a special track to both of us. Let's head down to Jason and get a better look at the track.
Well, thanks a lot, Rachel and Rodney. Jason Wygant down here at the start for the Parts Unlimited Wisp GNCC. A great story in the making here. This track is super gnarly, huge rocks, steep up and down hills. The chances of a mistake are very, very good today, and that could spell disaster for either one of our championship contenders, Bill Balance and Chris Borich. We call them the Killer Bees. They're very close at points. Now there's a third guy knocking on the door trying to become the third Killer Bee, and that's Chris Bithell on the number 14. Now Chris is actually lined up next to Balance and Borich. He got second at our last race in Kentucky, and more importantly, he's only 18 years old, and he lives not too far from here, just over the border in Pennsylvania. He's very comfortable in these rocky conditions. Let's see if a third Killer Bee can join the other two on the podium once again. First thing we'll do, though, is look at the racetrack. This is a Scott USA helmet cam. And this place is deceptive. There are some trails like this that look fairly smooth, but you see those rocks there peeking through? What about 1,000 riders take to the racetrack, and that will be the case this weekend. The dirt around the rocks is dug out, and suddenly you're basically riding on a track that is paved in boulders, and it gets gnarly. Plus, of course, it's a ski resort, so you know there's going to be steep hills. And we've had a little bit of rain in the forecast, so combine that, and you're basically looking at about the worst conditions you could possibly race a cross-country race on. But then again, we have the best riders in cross-country racing to race on this track. And here they are. Bill Balance, our points leader, a very small margin. Normally at this point in the series, he is way out in front and dominating. But this year, the competition has been there. Chris Borich really came into his own last season, led the points the majority of the year this year. He needs to rebound against Balance today. And by the way, Borich lives close by. He's comfortable on these big boulders. Now, Chris Jenks was the man on fire a couple of weeks ago. He had won 2 in a row, but in an off day the last time he raced in Kentucky. And the surprise of the year continues to be the Rock, Dwayne Johnson, 4th in points. He's a rookie in the pro class, and he has really made a name for himself here in 2006. We're ready to go racing at the Wisp, and here we go. They fire the engines, and they're going uphill the ski slopes here, and it looks like it's Chris Jenks grabbing the whole shot. So Jenks, trying to make up for a disappointing run last week, is out front on the number 4. And the rest of these guys banging into each other, plowing wheels, whatever it takes. You do not want to be left. Uh-oh, we got a big, big pileup. Looks like Andy Lagson's on the 8. Johnny Gallagher has rolled over the number 17. Oh, wait, that's Bithell on the number 14. Second place in our last race. He's tangled up the black quad. That's the distinctive. That's the Polaris of Matt Smiley, number 5. And if Chris Bithell wanted to come out and win in front of the hometown fans today, it just went up in smoke. Meanwhile, all fire into the first turn. Chris Jenks, he's got revenge on the mind. It looked like he was about to take the leap and become an elite player in this game after winning 2 races in a row. It didn't work out the last event, but he is leading out here at the Wisp, and look at what he's leading. A snarling pack of guys behind him, and look at these rocks. Just riding over boulders, that is non-stop. You put one tire on, you're bending equipment on your machine. Chris Jenks in the lead right now is doing it best. Jenks showing a lot of hunger this year. You wonder if he's a little extra motivated after losing last time.
I don't know if I need to remind him. I'm sure they still remember 2 wins in a row, but that's in the past. And I definitely lost one, so we're going to redeem that today and put it back up front. I want to get that factory ride, and I'm not going to get it getting 5th place finishes. That's not going to cut it, so got to get this GT Thunder Hauser racing machine up front. Got to do it. Heart and desire, just I want to beat them. I want to be up front, and I want what they got.
Putting a for sale sign on the ride of Chris Jenks. He's basically saying, if you're a factory, I'll come race and win for you. Right now it's Boric of the factory Honda in second, a factory Yamaha of Bill Balance in third. So no surprise here. These have been the three killers over the last couple of years. Jenks, Boric, Balance, they have won the majority of the races. Right now it's Brandon Balance. Great ride for Brandon, up in fourth right now. It's been a tough season for him after finishing on the podium at our opening round. And here's William Yokley on the Yoshimura Suzuki. You can never count the yoke out. He is a veteran. There's The Rock, Dwayne Johnson on the rocks. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. It's Racer TV on OLN, brought to you by Suzuki, ITP, Rocky Mountain, Moose, Yamaha, and Polaris. This is the Parts Unlimited Wisp GNCC, part of the Suzuki GNCC series, and our Suzuki special test this week, the half-pipe. This is actually the snowbank, and they collect snow for snowboarding in the winter. But today, we're running the ATVs up, over, and through it. They got to pass through it 7 times. It's like a slalom course, and the fans love it. Look at the big pile of people down here to cheer on Chris Jenks, Chris Boric, and Bill Balance, our leaders. Be careful, Chris. Almost gave up the lead, bumping tires. The last section, we filled it with mud. And 2 different lines out there, and the 2 riders are just able to get through now through the pits. Another unique section of the course here at the Wisp. Paved pits. This is the parking lot for the ski resort, and they've got to broad slide those things through there on the asphalt. And you got to conserve in your tires and your brakes through here. You can blow through that stuff pretty quick. You slide around on the pavement too much. Now Chris Boric is into the lead, and he knows this place as well as anyone. The first time he went racing out here at the Wisp, he broke his arm crashing on that pavement section. He came out here the next year and won the race. Then last year he came out and broke his collarbone here at the Wisp, and that essentially knocked him out of championship contention. So mixed emotions if you're Chris Boric about coming out here and racing in Maryland. But right now he's in the lead. Yokley, the number 5 spot, wants us to find the guys that are in front of him right now. Here's Dwayne Johnson in 6th. He's trying to hold off Yokley in the points and stay up in 4th place in this series right now. All right, here it is. Boric continuing to lead. We mentioned does not live too far from here in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, so he's comfortable on these big rocks. And man, did that thing kick that Honda sideways. Jenks still going strong in the number 2 position, and Balance just lurking back there in 3rd. I don't think we've seen all Bill Balance has to give yet. You see the posture. He's just keeping an eye on these guys, keeping in touch, and he knows on a rough racetrack like this, the smarter man usually is the better man, and he will not let it all hang out until he absolutely has to. There's Brandon Balance's younger brother, running strong in 4th, Yokley in 5th, and Johnson back there in 6th. Lots of fans out here in the woods. That ski lift that we saw Rodney and Rachel on at the beginning of the show, that allows the fans to get up into the remote sections of the woods they would not normally see at a typical Grand National Cross Country event. Another checkpoint down for Boric. He has the number 2. He wants to get back in the points lead. He wants to win the championship. If Bill Balance wins it this year, 7 in a row will tie the all-time record held right now by Barry Hawk, who won this title from 1993 through 1999. So history in the making, unless Boric or Jenks or Yokley or Johnson, the guys in the hunt this year, can stop Bill Balance. Look at how difficult this section is. It's like riding an ATV down steps. Huge rocks. Balance has moved into 2nd, but look at Jenks. He has not given up. He's using different lines, trying to keep the pressure on. He honestly believes in his heart that he can run with the Killer Bees all day long, and that's really the key. If you believe it, you usually can do it. That's why he's won 2 races so far this year. Yokley has now made the move on Brandon Balance, and we got a battle at our hands now. Let's see, we got Johnson, that's Brent Sturdivant right there, and Brian Cook. They have caught on to the Rock, Dwayne Johnson. We got a battle in our hands for that spot, and a battle up front. Boric and Balance, the Killer Bees breaking away just a tad. You see Jenks back there trying to keep them in sight. Pushing, 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 trying to stay with those guys. Oh, look out! Oh! And that's the downside of pushing. He went right into that tree. Oh, he's making mistakes all over the place. Here's what happened, our Yamaha replay. Too much throttle, he's spinning. Now watch, he's gonna get a hole. That's like hitting a curb on the road. And now he's got nowhere to go, but ooh, there's a tree on one side and 400-pound ATV on the other. Chris has got to be hurting right there. I mean, that rib burst into a tree. Those trees don't move. He has got to be in some kind of pain. He is one determined young man, though. We go back into the half pipe here at the end of lap number 2. We're picking up the battle, which is developing now between Yokley and Brandon Balance. We saw Yokley was able to get by Brandon, and Brandon's not letting him go. And we've got Sturdivant right behind him. Sturdivant has become a pretty salty dog here in the last couple of weeks, starting to run with the more established competition in this series. And he indeed is right there with two of the veterans in the game. And in fact, Brandon runs into some trouble, and Sturdivant is able to get by him. Yoakley, meanwhile, on the move, trying to get away, take advantage of that mistake made by Brandon Balance, and try to move up. You know Yoakley would love to get up front and run with those top three. Jenks, Balance, Borch is your order right now. Let's go to our Motorsport Outlet Hot Product of the Week.
Hi, I'm Chris Jenks, GNCC number 4 Pro ATV. We're here for your Motorsport Hot Product of the Week. We're going to talk about one of my favorite products on the bike, which is your Flex handlebars. These products work great. Last year I suffered a wrist injury, and the vibration of the bars are starting to bother me a lot. This year, with the addition of them being on my team, it has helped tremendously. Also, the Fast Company Flex bars feature new double crossbar designs, helps eliminate forward flex, significantly reduces vibration, reduces arm pump and hand fatigue, reduces shock transfer from hard landings and braking jumps. Also, these handlebars come with 3 different variations of stiffnesses with the shock dampeners that they send with you. You can find these Fast Company products along with many other great products at motorsport.com.
Racer TV on OLN, brought to you by Suzuki, ITP, Rocky Mountain Moose, Yamaha, and Polaris. Pit stop time here at the Wisp. Chris Borch has been in control for the last couple of miles, and he's in and out of the pits and maintains the lead. Now how about this? Chris Jenks has gotten back in the hunt. Balance goes into the pit. Jenks gets back around him. So Jenks is not done battling with these guys yet. Here's the rest of the pack. Sturdivant, Brandon Balance. Yoakley is now into the pits for fuel. So he loses, whoa, look out, he loses a few spots there. It's Brian Cook pulling into the Team Excel Motorsports pits. His wife Bonnie there on the right asking if he needs goggles. Well, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he had to wave the wife off on that request. Here we go, back out front, Chris Borch leading, and boy, you would not think that he got hurt in that pavement section a few years ago. No one goes through as fast as Chris Borch does. He is on his game today, and Borch needs to be. Started the year off on fire, a dominant win at the season opener. Had one more win since then. The last couple of races, it has not been the same Chris Borch. He needs to rebound today. This is nearly a must-win situation. And Chris Bithell, first shot we've seen of him since getting tangled up in the first turn with Max Smiley. Bithell on quite a charge from the back. I'm telling you what, I like the aggression of Chris Borch. Every time, even if he makes a mistake, he's able to recover and make it work for him. You see Balance spinning some tires there. It really looks like Borch is the most comfortable at the pace they're running right now. But Jenks just won't let these guys go. He's just stubbornly refusing to make it a battle between the Killer Bees. He wants to be the third rider in that pack. Last couple of years, it has basically been the Killer Bees winning most of the races. Jenks has had a couple of breakthrough rides, though. He wants today to be another one. Here's Brandon Balance. Great riding for Brandon today. We'll see if he's able to stay up all the way through to the finish. Just look at this. It looks like Jenks and Balance have turned it up. Oh, they're letting it all hang out now, not letting Borch off the hook. Now Borch tries to respond. Almost blows out that corner. Man, they are pushing right to the edge. Every last ounce of traction they can get out of those ITP tires. That's what they're using right now. Looks like Balance into the checkpoint as well, just out of striking distance. Here it is, Balance, Borch. And what happened to Jenks? We lost him. Balance has managed to take the lead, and Jenks is gone. Oh, hold on, Chris. Don't go too fast in this section this time. We know the dangers. He signals. Yeah, I think someone was saying, hey, man, slow it down, and he signals to the fan. Thanks for the advice. Oh, did you see the hit that Chris Borch took? He's managed to get the lead back now from Balance, but he took a hard hit coming into the half pipe. Continuing to negotiate this section, the Suzuki Special Test. Borch and Balance, it just doesn't get much better than this. The Killer Bees all over each other. And you know what? This is a section where you can just run it in on the guy and just spin him out if you wanted to. You can roll him over, but you got to respect the sportsmanship these two have shown. With all the torrid battles they've had, we have not seen those guys pull any dirty work. Now here it is, Balance. It's Brandon Balance. That is the Rock Dwayne Johnson and Bithell. I cannot believe Bithell has gotten it. Now Bithell just bumped into Balance, and here comes Johnson. What a race between these three. Johnson just got held up. Bithell going to try to take advantage of this. This is wild coming through this half-pipe section. Let's go to our Rocky Mountain ATV MC tip of the week.
Hi, I'm William Yoakley, Pro GNCC ATV racer, and I'm here this week with the Rocky Mountain Rider Tip of the Week. We all know that it gets pretty cold and nasty in the winter months riding ATVs or dirt bikes, and it's very important to stay warm and dry. And that's why I choose to use the ARC Backcountry foul weather pants and jacket in these type conditions. The Backcountry jacket is fully waterproof with chest, back, and sleeve adjustable zippers, fleece line collar, and adjustable Velcro wrist closures for comfort and to keep any mud and water and cold air out. The jacket also features a 5-pocket design to pack anything you may need to take with you. Backcountry pants are heavy duty and fully waterproof as well, with the inner gaiter that tucks down into the boot while the outer leg still goes out over the boot to keep any mud, water, or any cold air out. The outer leg features a zipper design that's made for comfort and ease for putting on and off the pants, so you don't have to roll up your pant leg every time. And the inner lower leg features a heavy duty leather strap that prevents any wear and tear and holds up against the toughest heat. You can find these and other great ARC products at RockyMountainATVMC.com. I was introduced to tire balls back in 2003 by a friend of mine that introduced me to Wade Summers, the founder of the company and inventor of the product.
It came to me that a tennis ball was about the right size to fit in a front motorcycle tire.
Tire balls, to me, just such a revolutionary idea.
I've always had a huge problem with flats, and so I went and talked to Wade one day. We got to talking. I told him, I'd be very interested in doing some testing with him.
Immediately upon riding that bike with that tire inflated that way, I could feel the performance advantages.
Once we started testing with tire balls later that summer.
It's really exciting because you've got people from all over the world. They've been in this business for 20, 30 years and think that this is the most exciting new product they've seen in a long time.
Not only did it prove to be a great flat-proof system, but it helped increase the performance and traction control on the machine, which really helped out in the rocks, the mud, and the uphills, and sliding into the corners. Now that I've ran with them for 3 years, I don't think I could imagine running without them. When I go to the line with tire balls, I feel confident in knowing that a flat tire is not going to be holding me up.
We're at the halfway point of the race, and it looks like it's really coming down to how the pit strategies are going.
Yeah, definitely, Rachel. Each team has their own strategy. It looks like Balance and Borch both opted to pit on that second lap, and Jinx is trying to go 3 and maybe see if he can't take over the lead and pull out a little bit of a gap. Without it being dusty and stuff, though, Balance and Borch both have the opportunity to maybe use that to their advantage, catch back up, and on the third lap, when Jinx decides to pit, they can take back over the lead. That only leaves maybe 1 lap left of the race for Jinx to maybe come back and try to take back over that lead. It could be tough. We'll have to wait and see.
All right, here is the pit. Balance and Borch sliding their way through. Remember, they already gassed up before. And here comes Chris Jenks. He's lost a little bit of ground, and he's going to lose a whole bunch more. He does indeed need to gas up. He ran the same pit strategy in Kentucky. You got to give credit. He's just trying something, anything. He's definitely trying hard, wheeling at the pit, sliding into that corner. You can't say that guy doesn't want it, but the speed right now belongs to Balance and to Borch. They have got the pace that has allowed them to pull away from Jenks and about 400 other guys out here. It might just be a private battle between the Killer Bees. Jenks not going to make it easy. Here is Balance in second. Look how much faster they're going to this turn than they were earlier in the race. They're just pounding over those rocks. He's got that tail light. He can see it. He can see the Honda of Borch in front of him. Here comes Jenks trying to keep pace. Man, that guy's going for it. However, the Killer Bees, as always, might just turn this into a private showing. That's the way they did it out here. It was actually turning out that way last year until Borch threw it away late in the race. He wants to get revenge on this mountain for sure. Other riders battling their way through these big, big rocks. Here it is, another lap down, a checkpoint in the books. Borch and Balance doing what they do best, battling it out, stealing lines, putting the pressure on each other. Scotty Barron coming through the pit, or the checkpoint rather. Now back into the woods, and Balance is taking the lead. Balance out front here on mile number 9 of the 4th lap. Time is running out. Was he just waiting the entire time to make a move? There's Dwayne Johnson in the hunt as expected. Look, Balance trying to pour it on. Balance going to try to make a run for it, a break for it, trying to head for daylight. Will Borch be able to respond? He led almost all the way here, and now in the waning moments, Balance is able to get it. Oh, Borch just got spun out by a lapper. We're into the half pipe. Time is running out on Borch to make moves. You see the crowd beginning to respond. They've been treated to a great battle out here today as Balance and Borch are going for it in the final section of this racetrack. Only a few corners on the half pipe remain. You saw Borch got tangled up with a slower rider. That might make the difference. He's not quite close enough to try anything to get around balance. Checkered flag is out. Balance is stuck behind a lapper. No worries. Bill Balance takes the win. And Chris Borch, that young man has got to be frustrated. He led 3 of the 4 laps today. Congratulations out to Bill Balance, but he's got to be bummed with the way that turned out. Let's go to our winners.
It was tough out there today. It was this race could have gone either way, especially on this track as rough and gnarly as it is. And just put my head down and did the best I could, and tried to stick to all the right lines at the end. A lot of fast sections, a lot of fast sweeping corners, and you had to hold your line and stay in the throttle, keep the power to the ground, because if you didn't, you could get past real easy. So everything worked out great. Yamaha was strong out there today and performing well, so got another win.
Yeah, last year I wrecked pretty hard here, broke my collarbone, and it feels good to come back and keep it on all 4, but doesn't feel good coming in second, but gave it all I could and came up a little short, but I'll get them after the break.
Yeah, it was a wild day. I kept having little problems here and there, and everybody, I got passed a lot today, and I was just like, I was kind of bummed out. I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't ever keep a good rhythm going, and that last lap, I never did give up. I just kept hanging in there, giving it all I got, and I finally had a little luck on my side.
Bad news for Chris Jenks. Breaks an A-arm in the last lap, and that's going to take him out of the top 10 overall. Lost a lot of points. So once again, as we go into the GNCC break, it's the Killer Bees, Balance and Borch, with a commanding points lead this series now. It's going to come down to either 1 or 2, finishing 1 and 2 this year. A great race here at the Wisp. We're glad you could join us for the Parts Unlimited Wisp GNCC. For Rachel Ayers and Rodney Smith, I'm Jason Wygant. We'll see you next week.
The Grand National Cross Country Championship is sanctioned by the American Motorcyclist Association. Rights, riding, racing. AMA. Join now. Call 1-800-AMA-JOIN.